Right, today I'm going to be testing out these bad boys. These are mini bands, and the difference, the one problem we always have with mini bands is they always end up snapping. You end up going through many sets of mini bands, costing you a fortune. So I've opted to do something a little bit different. But these, they all come individually wrapped, and they are rigid. They're a bit like gummy bands, but they're a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner. They come all weights in different sizes. And I'm going to give them a try as a replacement to our regular mini bands. There are how many? In each set there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different bands, and they range from extra light all the way up to, what have we got? I think it's extra heavy, extra hard. Now the question is how do they perform compared to the other mini bands? I think the limitation of these is going to be range of motion, but I think the durability factor will be a bit of a game changer, because I like to do different things with mini bands that involve not just being around the ankles and the wrist, but being on the floor. I think they would take more of a beating. So let's give them a test. So it's been a few months since I've been using these fabric mini bands. So what you really want to know is, are these going to replace the elastic mini bands? There are pros and cons to both. The pros with these, well, let's go over the biggest difference. The biggest difference is end range of motion. So these are two relatively evenly matched mini bands. Let me try and do a bit of an experiment on this one. For this one, that is maximum range. For this one, you can see you get a lot of extra range on there, maybe an extra 30%. Because these fabric bands have a natural end point. The elastic goes so far and then just seems to finish, whereas these could just keep being stretched to the breaking point. And that brings us to the pros and cons of each. These things are never going to snap. They're going to be more suitable for certain exercises. So the final answer is no, they are not going to replace elastic mini bands, but they're going to substitute them for a large degree and a large proportion of exercises, because these are so delicate and so prone to breaking. And yes, they are cheap, but you don't want to keep ordering them, having to go through new ones. Are these the same as the last ones? Anytime, like for example, when I do my glutes, I put them around the toes. If you put these around the toes, every few weeks I'm going through bands, they just take a little nick or the sharp pair of shoes, or there's something on the floor, and they snap. It's the same thing if you're putting them around pieces of equipment. If there's any nails on the bar, then you can have a little snag on there. These things will just keep going. They're a lot more durable. When it comes to the end range, for most of the exercises, for me, it doesn't really make a difference. In some ways, it feels good to have an end point where I think that's the limit, that's where I need to be. And obviously, you have a selection of bands you can use as well. So these are going to take over maybe 50, 60% of the exercises I would use these for. And then when I need to, I would bring out a mini band instead of this, because I want my bands to last for a while. And don't forget, I'm not just using these for myself, I'm using them with my clients. So they get a lot of use. And overall, I'm pretty impressed. If these go eventually, then I would definitely replace them.